Oh, golden greetings. We've
We've
lost Sean in the process here. Oh, there he is.
We lost you.
Clicked on the wrong button.
We're rolling down the highway, plowing through the snow here, folks. So, welcome to the Automotive Podcast shares both model cars and doesn't help, blah, blah, blah. So, this is our episode 2 of season 3. We're supposed to have Steve Knox, Freddie Beach Customs on tonight. So far, he's not here. We're reaching out that he'll come on before we're over. So, pardon us while we stumble through a show we didn't plan on. And yeah, we're just going to roll with the three of us like good old times here. All of us are underneath some variety of snow cover. I mean, James has been buried in lake effect snow since Christmas, so nothing new for him. But me and Sean, we've got like a foot and a half of new snow on the ground. And we have not died shoveling, so that's a positive. This past weekend was the 24-hour build for anybody who was online to participate in that. I had considered throwing my hat into that because I didn't work Saturday because of the weather, and then I decided I'd rather sleep. And I was going to participate, like doing it my own, like Sunday into Monday. And these guys know because again we're in our little group chat. I'm poking around the edges of a new gig, and I was waiting to hear back from them. And I thought I might have to be cognizant and like aware of my surroundings today, which turned out I didn't. But be that as it may, so I didn't do that either. So yay for me! Another wild success of nothing accomplished. James, Mr. Tester, you're printing out McLarens last I saw. What's going on with you since we talked last?
Yeah, just posted a video today. I printed out some McLarens, a new designer on Coles 3D. His name's Lucas. He designed these in Blender, and yeah, they're beautiful. Made a coupe and a spider. So, yeah, I just want to promote him a little bit and get his name out there.
Yeah, I watched your video earlier today. Those look like really, really nice models. I was kind of impressed with like all the body parts being kind of separate, that you could kind of, make it more easy to paint them. And
right. Little masking required.
Yeah, nice. Does he have any other designs besides the two McLarens, or?
He has an older file of a Bugatti Chiron, but he's not happy with it. So it's not up to this quality. But further ones will be even better than this.
Nice. Then did you have a chance to talk to him in person?
No, he's in Brazil.
Oh, wow. Brazil. Okay. Interesting. Do you know of any plans he's got for any future offerings?
I do, but I can't talk about it.
Okay.
We can talk offline about that.
Did you sign an NDA like I did about this job? That's not what happened.
But I guess the 3D print world is pretty competitive, first to market kind of thing. So
yeah. Now, is there anybody else doing any of those McLaren 720s?
Revell is going to come out with one later on this year, but that's a plastic kit.
Nice.
I'm interested to see, and we'll need the plastic kit first, as to whether or not like the glass work will fit into that from the kit into that resin. Because if it does, then I want a spider.
It's got a nice ledge to it. It really does. You just have to black out the acetate. That's all.
Yeah, it's like if any of it fits, like the body fits onto the chassis, maybe, because that'll give it an engine and stuff like that. Even if it doesn't, it would be a silly purchase to spend $30 on basically what amounts to a set of decals to rob out of a plastic kit. But then at least you have the McLaren logos and stuff like that.
Right.
That's sort of that one thing about 3D printing, is that it lacks the support you need to sort of finish the kit off. And yes, I'm sure we can all pile into Sean's basement here and demand he print us decals. But in the meantime, it would just be nice to have. Because I don't think Revell's going to make a convertible of it. Usually those supercars they do are one and done type kits.
Right.
I was kind of impressed. It had separate window frames. I saw in your video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made the templates, and they print super thin, but they fit exactly where the window is. So I think I can just tape that template right to plastic, cut around the cut around the template, and boom, you got a perfect fitting window.
Cool.
But other than that, working on another project with another designer. I can show you this in advance. This is next week's video. It's a BMW E30 wide body. So be a full kit again. And that way you don't have to buy a new kit and a wide body set and all that. You can just use that.
Mr. Duff, can you zoom in on that thing?
Oh, you want me to, as we call it here, this isn't embiggen him. There we go.
Oh, wow.
So this is like an 85, 86 BMW M3 wide body.
Okay. That's like an aftermarket wide body, right? It's not a factory.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice print. I printed the body so far.
Is it a full kit with an engine and chassis and everything, or is it?
No, no chassis, has suspension, has interior.
Okay.
So it'll look nice. It's a shelf model.
Is the interior a street car, or is it more of a race car with a roll cage?
More of a race car's custom.
Okay.
Sort of racing seats and a sort of stock looking dash, but a racing steering wheel. Has a back seat.
And who's doing that file again?
This guy, his name is Gino, and he's another up and coming designer on Colts 3D.
What else is he having in his portfolio?
Nothing yet. So these guys all reached out to me. I was reviewing somebody else's files, and they reached out to me and said, "Hey, I design files," and I said, "Send me what you got." And like with the McLaren, I got it around here somewhere. The McLaren, we started with a full chassis underneath it, and I told him, I said, we can't have this because this was a solid chunk of resin, and I poked holes in the slicer so that it wouldn't use so much resin, but we couldn't really work with this. And there were a few other little things that he wanted to change about it. And yeah, this one had the molded in parts here. So yeah, he made a lot of changes over, four iterations. Yeah, this was print 1, and this is print 4.
Nice.
So yeah, I like working with these guys because I don't know anything about Blender or making files, but I do know about building models, and they know about Blender, but they don't know about building models. So kind of works together.
Interesting. Pair you guys together.
Yeah.
I would say the way number 1 is done would probably work if you were going to pressure cast that, but printing it, you'd have the situation of having raw resin inside that.
Correct.
And then somebody poking it the wrong way and having it leak all over their bench. My McLaren's water broke.
That's why I poked the holes in the slicer, so that it would have something to drain out.
And I saw that
the guys in the chat all want muscle cars done, of course.
I saw that Coach Builder recently issued a new file for the 90s Chevy pickup.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited for that?
I know the answer to this already. That's why I'm laughing. Sorry.
Yeah. But that's his bread and butter, is those pickup trucks. So I understand.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, at first I thought, I was like, I don't know, why are we doing that? Like, AMT's already got one that's pretty of that era. That's pretty nice. And then I realized, oh, he's actually done the 4-wheel drive version, which hadn't been done. So that's cool. And I'm sure that there'll most likely be a Tahoe and a Suburban probably on its way.
Right. Yeah, he likes to do every version. Right.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty cool. I would actually like to do the 4-wheel drive Suburban. I think that'd make a cool overlanding rig.
I know a guy.
Yeah, there it is.
For anybody who hasn't seen it, it's like a base stripper, not that kind of stripper. K1500, like it's like super duper single cab, super duper. It's not even it was that weird, like not a long bed, not a short bed that was offered only on the work trucks. And I've seen a bunch of people who commented when this popped up on various things, like, well, why AMT? Well, AMT, you have to go back and find one of the old MPC annuals first of all to get the grill with the separate headlights, because it was updated to that the singular, I don't know what you would want to call it, but the singular headlight bezel when they updated it to a 90. And obviously that's not the SS 454 was not a 4-wheel drive, and was also much lower than the 4x4. And we had discussed this before, like Sean had mentioned, if you get this in a Tahoe, this is like every single Forest Service, Border Patrol, Air Force, Army, it was surplusly ordered through the military and the federal government for like every police vehicle off-road purpose there was. So that'd be cool. I'd be in for a Tahoe.
I'd like to see a crew cab too. That's one that hasn't been done.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where this goes as far as like if anybody follows Andre's stuff, like when he did the Christine, 57 Plymouth, that came in like a wagon, and then it came in a panel wagon, and then it came in a convertible, and then it came in a different convertible, and it was like 6 or 8 of those things all together. So this is the first one. I'm surprised there hadn't been additions to it already, but be that as it may, I'm interested to see where this goes, because it fits that little niche, right? You're not having to scratch build yourself a truck out of different AMT and NPC parts, and like we were talking about this earlier, AMT did do a Tahoe in the Snapfast Plus line, the Snap Tight line, but that was like an LT, top of the line trim, and you had to sit there and sand all the side moldings off, cut the running boards off, and then do a bunch of stuff you want to turn it back into a base Tahoe. So
right, and that was the 4-door version. They've never done the 2-door.
Exactly.
Okay. You guys know a lot more about pickup trucks than I do. That's for sure.
You need a match with McLaren 720 somehow, like just do a matchup.
No.
Well, I'd say that I don't think it was exactly that era of Suburban. I think it was the generation before that back in the day, like All American Models had made a Tahoe and a Suburban of like the late 80s variety, and those are the models that he got cease and desisted by GM on. They came after him for making them. So there's a whole line of if he wanted to go backwards a little bit and make that sort of the last of the square body trucks, that those have also never been done, because when they were done, they only existed for a couple of weeks, and then that was the end of it. And in 2026, how easy is it to find one of those old AAM resin kits anyway? And if you did, would you want to build it? Because the technology 35 years later, is that even a buildable resin item? I have a old resin kit laying around here that I bought probably 5-10 years ago. I found it the other day when I was cleaning up in here, and the hood in it is all warped like a nacho now. And James has been in my basement before. It's climate controlled. Nothing's in the sun. Like, there's no reason for it to warp. It just resin does that after a while. It just sort of continues to shrink.
I've been able to save quite a few resin pieces with a heat gun.
Yeah, I think I could probably unwarp it if I tried. But
yeah,
I want to.
It would have to be pretty special to go through all that trouble.
I think I bought that resin kit for a build-off, which shows how silly that whole idea was.
I'm trying to remember. The only American Models resin that I ever bought, I had one of their the 85 Mustang LX coupes that he did.
Okay.
And then I kind of got wind that Revell was going to do the coupe long before they ever announced it. And so I sold it on eBay.
and then you were sorry, because then Revell came out with it.
Well, the AM, I mean, the resin one was a little bit crude anyway, so it wasn't exactly. It was okay. I probably tripled my money after what I paid for it, because it's long since those things had been out of production, and they were pretty rare at that point, and they were really highly wanted as a subject matter.
Right.
So what have you been up to?
I was gonna say I learned a hot tip I'll share with you guys too. So just recently this week, I discovered that you can, if you've had problems with detail or decals cracking, like especially old decal sheets, like sometimes I've had some. I pulled out a set of micro scale, was it micro the carbon fiber ones? Is it micro
Oh, Scale Motorsport.
scale motorsports? Yeah. I pulled out an old set of carbon fiber decals that I'm using on the Dune Charger that I'm building, and I cut a piece out and put it in the water, and immediately like cracked in a bunch of pieces and sort of fell apart. I'm like, oh, crap. And I was thinking, well, I could probably spray this with Tamiya Clear, the rest of the decal sheet, and probably save it. And then I got started thinking about it because you guys have kind of turned me on into using heat and like a blow dryer to soften the decals when you're. And I was like, I wonder if I could just heat the decal sheet up before I put it in the water, and then use like really hot water to try to keep it soft. And I gave it a try, and it worked perfect.
Really?
Yeah, it kept it from cracking. And I was like, oh, maybe I don't know that it would work on every decal sheet, but it worked for that decal sheet. And now I'm like, well, maybe I need to try that like more often. So
wow, that might be something, man.
Yeah, so maybe give that a try next time. I just took, because I use a heat gun. I don't have a hair dryer. I actually have a heat gun. And I set it on low setting and keep it far enough away. But yeah, I just heated up the decal sheet, about as hot as I could hold it, and then sit it in really hot water and softened it up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it had a clear coat on it and you reactivated the clear coat.
I don't know. Maybe.
Interesting.
I think just kind of, I'm guessing, I'm not a chemist, but I'm guessing just keeping it really warm just, relaxes it.
We'll see if it cracks later on after you put a clear coat over it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Thanks for.
And now we've given Sean something to worry about.
Yeah, I don't know. I would think the solvents wouldn't probably bother it once it's been applied. I use a lot of setting solution on it, and that would seem to be fine. It didn't bother it. It softened it up too with that. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention is I got to give a shout out to. I bought a set of these gallery metallic markers. They are great. I really like them a lot. I had watched, I think it's Matt's Models or something on YouTube, who did sort of a comparison test between these and the AKs, and he seemed to like the galleries better. They were a little less watery.
Okay.
And I got a set, and I thought they'd be really cool for like doing like paint detailing on engines and chassis, because I like to use a lot of different metallic shades and colors and just kind of add little details to things, and it just to kind of give it some variation and make it a little bit more visual interest, right? I was thinking, well, markers would be a really quick way to add a bunch of like little things without having to open a jar of paint and clean a brush and everything like that. And so far, they're great. I really like it. So
cool.
Other than that, I've just been working on the Dune Charger. I've posted some pictures on that. I did I haven't posted on Facebook yet. I'll wait till I get a whole series. I'll wait till I get a finished product. But I've been scratch building a set of wide body kit of my own design to kind of fit the big 4x4 tires. And I was using a technique called what I've called as a Bondo splash. I don't know what other people might call it, but in the model shop I used to work at years ago, this was a technique we used when we wanted like a surface to kind of fit against another surface and it had a regular shape. What we would do is we'd usually use some kind of lubricant or something. Like we had a spray lubricant you could just spray on it. Mm-hmm. And then you'd take Bondo on the other side and just mash it in and then push the two together. and then it wouldn't stick to the one side. So when you pull it apart, you get kind of a mirrored image of the. So I was wanting to make these fender flares, and I didn't want them to be blended into the body. I wanted it to be something I could pull off and look like they're a bolt-on flare. And so I got to looking at the body shape on the Charger, and I was like, oh, this is pretty smooth. I'll just lay down kind of a tape edge of where I want. And then I just mixed up some Bondo, smashed it up until it, huge, big, I showed you the picture. It's huge, big glob. It looks pretty nasty to start with.
Like, oh boy, you're going to sand for days.
Yeah. And then, pop it off once it dries. And then I use Dremel and, carve it into the shape that I want. So it's kind of a crude method of doing it. But
what did you use as a lubricant to keep it from sticking?
Well, for this particular thing, I didn't have to use anything because the body, was smooth enough.
Uh-huh.
And because I wasn't wrapping the Bondo around any edges, I knew it would, once it was hardened, I could flex the body and it would just sort of pop loose. And it was smooth enough. It didn't have it. If you don't sand it or put any grit on it, it won't have anything to stick to.
Okay. Because I've been looking at the 67 Mustang Shelby kit for ages. And I know that front end does not fit at all. And I've been thinking about, just like what you're talking about, is put Bondo on one side, put some sort of something on the other side, smash it together, let it dry, and then just trim off the edge, and you'll have a perfect filler piece between the two.
Right. Yeah. That's the technique I would try.
What's the worst that could happen? It could just.
I mean, I like sculpture, so I'm pretty good at sculpting things and carving things. So I'm more apt to try to, start with a blob of material and just hack away at it until I get, the shape I want. The challenge I've had is, to try to get two sides to look exactly the same, and because I did one side and just got it the way I want it to look. Now I have to try to somehow mirror it, the other side. And so it's a lot of measuring back and forth and mostly just eyeballing, trying to,
I'm surprised you're not casting one in resin.
Well, I mean, I need the mirror image to be on the other side. So even if I cast it, it wouldn't help me out.
Okay.
But I'm getting pretty close to it.
Okay. And I don't think anybody would notice if it wasn't exactly the same anyways.
Right. From side to side, you won't really notice.
Right.
As long as it's relatively close. So that's what I've been working.
Good for you, though. That's more on the modeling side than the assembler side.
And Sean is really underselling this because, again, we have our group chat and we've seen pictures of this. And it basically looked like Sean had taken mint icing and just slathered it on both sides of the model. And it's like, wow, that's going to be something. And then, I don't know, it was a day later and he's got perfect fender flares. I was like, okay, it's beyond my pay grade. And then we've been teasing him with the whole, now you got to make it equalateral. Now it's going to look the same on both sides.
Yeah, that Charger's been a fun build. It's challenging me. It's one of the more extensive builds that I've done probably ever as a model car, because it's practically everything on there is modified. I was taking the chassis from the trophy truck that was 3D printed, but obviously the wheelbase was wrong. Everything about it was wrong. So yeah. Hey, looks like we've got a guest. Steve.
Hey there, how you guys doing? I'm sorry I'm late. I'm up here in Canada. I think we got 4 feet of snow today, and I was just out clearing up the yard.
Well, like I said, no worries. You're here now. We have an echo.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, Steve.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Maybe it's my speaker here.
Yeah, you might have to
turn that off. Am I still echoing pretty bad?
Well, I don't know. We need to see if we're going to come back through. Nope, we're there. All right, cool. You're good.
Yeah, that's good. That's better.
Yeah, we were echoing back. We could hear ourselves.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Yeah, we all got a little bit of snow too, but
Yeah,
I think we're still
It's
getting
been a bit going around all over the continent, from what I understand.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have. Say that. Echo. Say that. Echo.
That's
Yeah,
might be me. Here,
Yeah.
I'm going to switch my Bluetooth off here. Just one sec.
All right. The joys of live broadcasting.
Without a net,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Is
we
that
are-
better?
Well, let's
Let's
see.
see.
Can we hear ourselves in the background?
That's better.
I think that's good.
All
Oh,
right.
perfect. That must be all it was. So yeah, well, look, I want to thank you guys for having me. This is really cool. This is really cool. It's exciting. I'm really, again, I'll apologize one more time for being late, but yeah, no, I really, really appreciate this.
No worries, Steve. Like I said, I was going to email you earlier, and then work got crazy, and then we all got buried in the snow. So it's my fault. I should have had that link out to you over the weekend. But glad to have you here, everybody.
Yeah.
This is Steve Knox. You may know him better from his Instagram handle of Freddie Beach Customs. Fairly prolific builder, because as Steve mentioned to me in the email, he built something along the lines of 24 plus kits last year and like 36 the year before.
Yeah.
He's also a moderator for the Now or Never Build Off on Instagram, which is probably one of the more better known. What do you say? It's every quarter, right? It's about 3 months time limit on those, or 2 months.
Yeah, some of them are 2 months, some of them are 3, depending on the complexity of the subject that we've chosen that time around. Yeah.
So if you've been sucked into one of those group builds, Steve down here, he's partially responsible for that.
Guilty. We have a great bunch of regular builders that are in pretty well every one of them. There's 2 build offs. There's the Now or Never, and then there's the model car build off, and we're kind of subsidiaries of one another. As we share some of the moderators back and forth, and I was a moderator with the model car build off too, but as you just got to be too much talking and not enough building, and so I pulled back to being in just the one.
I'm not familiar with the model car one I have, but I'm not familiar with the other one. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, well, what it is, the way it started was build-offs have historically been involving a new kit that fits a theme of a certain category that's chosen for the build-off each time. And what happened with the Now or Never, I think it was before my time. I'm about a 3rd generation moderator on it. I came in late on that one too, but it was based off of finishing a kit you had in your stash that you always wanted to get back to but never could. And that became the first theme, and a few themes in, and then it started branching off to being sort of its own entity, and it's grown quite exponentially now. We're back this time around. We're doing another true Now or Never, and for that I pulled a Revell monogram 36 Ford out of my stash and started rebuilding it. That had a false start quite a long time ago.
Mr.
Yeah,
Duff, you had a few of those yourself.
Yeah. Guilty as charged.
I've got a few. Sean, you got a few.
Yeah, everybody has a few. Yeah.
It's the shelf of doom. We all have one.
Mhm.
Mine may be a few shelves of doom, but it's a shelf of doom.
What you say? You said you're building a 36 Ford.
I am. Yeah.
What are you doing to it?
Well, it's kind of getting the. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not here. So I just have my iPhone propped up, but it's kind of getting a classic look to it. Being the monogram, the old monogram 1/24 scale kit, it doesn't fit together all that well. The body assembly is quite nightmarish. So what I've done with it, as you can see, there's a piece of evergreen trim that I applied here. It's a half round, and it covers the seam that runs when you put the roof on the car. There's a seam on the door that kind of jigs its way out. It's just kind of terrible. So I think I've overcome its most of its weaknesses, and it'll be a nice looking car when it's done. It's getting kind of the old bomb treatment, the old, or bomba, I guess they called them, treatment, and yeah, it should be pretty neat.
Yeah, it looks like it's more of like a 50s kind of custom vibe.
Yeah, it has the skirts, and it'll have the wide whites and all of that. And I'm just going to use the kit engine. It has a pretty nice looking little flathead that comes with it, and all of that. So,
And is that like a Packard grill you're putting in the front of it? Look like the
yeah,
grill has
yeah, it is. This was one of the later releases of this kit that came with some different options. I built this as a kid when it just came in like a metallic red styrene, and I loved the kit back then, but of course back then I wasn't looking for flaws. I didn't care. I just wanted to get the thing put together and have it cool looking on my shelf. And this time around it's a little different. But again, I build so many every year that this one will get built, and we'll move along to the next. I have currently just looking around, I think I have 7 kits on the go right at the moment. So there's quite a few. I got myself into an awful situation. It happens more than I'd like to admit. I have a hard time saying no. I get a lot of commission requests, and I enjoy building replicas of real custom cars and whatnot too. So I've got a couple of those on the go that are kind of killing me a little piece at a time. But they're you have to sweat the details on them, and they're really quite worth it once they're done. But I have one that's coming along right now. It's a 33 Ford is what it's modeled after, and that's this little guy here. It's a replica of a real car that was called Gold Brick, they called it. And it's a kind of an odd, you don't see this type of custom too often especially on the old Fords like that, because it has the fenders are channeled, the body is not, the grill is sectioned on it. It's got a really odd, it's sectioned enough on the front that the guy who originally built it didn't have room for the headlights, so he mounted the headlights underneath the front fenders, and it's just it's a one of a kind. But when it's done, it's supposed to be attending the what's it called, the Detroit Autorama at their show. The fella that I'm building it for, he wants to have it ready for that. So pretty neat.
I had a question as to what color the other one was. The 36.
Oh, the color?
Yeah. So
oh yeah, that is it's one of the Vallejo tans. Yeah, I love Vallejo paints. They're fantastic for, they're solid colors. They don't have the best line of metallics, but they're solids. Any color you could ever want, it's there. And especially if you're building classic, uh, post-war cars, the grays, the robin egg blues, the beiges, the tans, the oxblood reds, the forest greens. They nail the color every time. I like going into the hobby shop and picking out one of their little bottles of paint, taking it home, and then picking out a kit. Because I'm like, it's just basing it right off to just the color. It's just fun. I don't know. I like their paints. They spray well too. They spray incredibly well.
Sounds
What
like
do you thin them with?
Sorry?
What do you thin them with?
I buy the ready to spray, the Vallejo Air. Now,
Okay.
sometimes I will have to put a little bit of flow improver in or whatever. And once in a while, you'll get a bad mix or an old jar off the shelf, and it'll have clumps in it. So I guess I don't have it right here with me. Oh, I have a dirty one here for my hairbrush. Boys, I'm jumping right off the deep end here with you guys and giving away all my secrets right away. I developed this little thing. I don't know if you can see it or not, but what it is, I 3D printed it. I just went into Tinkercad and I took it's a tobacco pipe filter. There's a stainless steel filter in there, and then I sized it, so it'll fit right in the cup of my airbrush, like so. And before I pour I don't pour my paint directly into the cup. I pour my paint into this. It strains it, takes out the particles, and then, because I was having an awful time with having to just constantly clean the airbrush. And when you're building as many as I am, it really becomes a headache because I'm switching colors a lot, 2 or 3 on the go at a time in the paint booth. It became a problem. So I was talking to a fellow one day, and I come up with this idea, and I tell you, I know they do make them that are universal, but this way at least I could make it, custom fit so it stays right in there, and they work great. Incredible addition.
And what kind of airbrush are you using?
That one is one of those Galeries. You'll see them advertised a bit on Instagram, and they're okay for an entry level airbrush. They're okay. I prefer my Iwata airbrushes really, but I kind of migrated those over for my clear coat. And the nice thing about the Galeries over here in Canada, you can pick them up for $35 when they go on sale, and they are a nice brush when they're kept immaculately clean. But they do the way that the air chambers in them are, and the paint, and the nozzle, the way the nozzle's designed, it takes nothing to clog them up. So, yeah. So what do you guys do? I'm sorry. Here I am doing all the talking, and we're just meeting here. So, yeah, tell me about you guys. What's going on? What do you guys build?
We just went through all that before we were waiting for that. Yeah, I've been working on the 4-wheel drive Dodge Charger trophy truck because I don't know.
Oh, that, yeah.
Why not?
That's this guy's fault over here. It's Mr. Tester's fault. He 3D printed a trophy truck, and then Sean, mad scientist down here, was like, "Oh, we should put a Dodge Charger on top of that." And
why not?
Never the two shall meet, but here we are anyway. And yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting. We were talking. We have a group chat between the three of us, so we see all the stuff in advance, and I'm amazed by Sean as usual. He's just doing crazy nonsense that looks like it isn't going to work, and then 10 seconds later he's got fender flares out of a splash of Bondo, and I'm eagerly awaiting the finished product.
Oh, I bet.
I keep suggesting he keeps asking a name for it. I keep saying it's Tester's fault or Tester's responsibility or something like that. If James hadn't printed him that trophy truck, none of this would have happened.
Yeah, you do get in trouble with that stuff, don't you?
So you said that you're a Tinkercad. You're a CAD guy. You know how to do all that stuff.
I wouldn't say all that stuff. I just bought a course on Blender. I haven't gone through it too much yet. Tinkercad, it's easy. So I've managed to, I've grown a lot in that. I guess the way that I can say that I've grown is the fact that I'm a lot faster in it now at getting it, and I do get a better product than I used to. But yeah, I use Tinkercad a lot, but I use it for smaller items, like designing valve covers or hubcaps or intake manifolds, things that are that you add in. I certainly am nowhere near designing a full kit or anything like that, but
I print a lot of other people's stuff. And I do reviews on my YouTube channel of other people's designs. So, but I enjoy that part of the hobby. I think if I were ever to get into Blender or, design work, that I would probably just quit building altogether and I would just design stuff.
Yeah.
And then move on to the next thing,
Steve, do you have a 3D printer?
Yes. Yeah. I have 2 of them, and they don't shut off. I don't even know where the off switch is on them. I look at my Amazon account, and every time I go to order more resin, I just shake my head when I see you have purchased this 37 times. Like, it's just mind blowing. I hope it never comes out to be, detrimental to our health or anything in a bad way, but I'm gone for. I'm done. Like, take for instance, this might not be the best example, but that little 33 Ford that I'm building, it has a dash layout in it that had to be replicated. And in order to make it, I couldn't really, I really didn't feel like sitting down with a piece of evergreen styrene and carving out bezels and holes and stuff in it, along with the taillights.
Sean would just start with a pile of Bondo and just carve that.
I respect that. But I do not have the patience. I hate sanding. I despise sanding. So it just makes it,
after my own heart.
Yeah. But there's always something small, like in these replica builds, that you need to have, and you can't buy these parts. So you just have to. I just found that if I design them myself and print them, one, it doesn't cost anything. 2, every time I do it, I get better at it, and it's unobtainium that you're getting. You can't get it anywhere else, so you can make it. It's the new form. It's the modern form of scratch building, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing to me that is really appealing, is the idea that I could make little intricate parts that would just be too difficult as kind of scratch build or too time consuming. Like CAD modeling and 3D printing is perfect for that thing, especially like engines and just weird little complicated shapes with lots of detail, and CAD's perfect for that.
Oh, and the nice thing is you can blow it up on your screen and go in and get those little tiny details and then zoom back out. And when you go to print them, they're there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. If I I couldn't have even imagined this, the hobby being the way that it is when I was younger. Like the all of these advantages that we have now are just, it's unreal. It's unthinkable almost,
Yeah. How long have you been model building?
Since I was about 8 years old. I'm 53 now. I did take a 13-year hiatus, and then COVID brought me back in. I stopped when we built our house and started our family and all of that. There just wasn't time for it. So I packed everything up and put it out in my shed. And then 13 years later, a guy at work just said, I heard you used to build model kits. And I said, yeah, I did. And he said, well, I'll challenge you to building one. And that's all it took. And that was 2000. So since then, it's just gone right off the rails.
Wow.
I came back in, I bought a printer right away, then I upgraded it, and then I upgraded it again. And I just can't seem to stop now.
Well, I follow you on Instagram, and one of the reasons why I was excited to talk to you is like you've got such a wide variety of models that you build, like a lot of hot rods and customs.
Thanks.
But all kinds of stuff. And I don't know, what do you like building best? What are your influences?
My influences, I'd say the number one is when you look at the Good Guys Rod and Custom shows. That's where I really get a lot of ideas from. That's where my taste lies. I'm a huge fan of old trucks. If you've been through my Instagram, you'll see that I always have a truck on the go. And hot rods, 50s cars all had just the chrome and the colors, and they take so well to modernized powertrains and interiors. Everything's just you take something like that, it's just such a great blank canvas to start with. And yeah, that's where my interest really lies, I think. Yeah.
How did you first get interested in model building? Would you have like your dad or brother or something get you interested? Or?
I was just talking to my brother about that last week. Yeah, my older brother, when I was building snap tights back then, of course, and I wasn't allowed to use glue until I was 10 because on the model box it said, 10 years and up. On my 10th birthday, my brother bought me the MPC Midnight Mustang. It was a Mustang 2. It was jacked up in the back. It was black with blue stripes and just pretty kind of gaudy, but I thought it was just the bomb. And he got me that in a tube of glue, and that lit the fire, and it just took right off from there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, I was curious. I mean, a lot of people we interview, it seems like they have a lot of their technical skills often come from some sort of job that they have in real life. And I was kind of curious to know what you do in real life and if that plays into your hobby in any way.
There it is right there. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually it does. Growing up, when I was a kid, and I had a permanent subscription to Hot Rod, Carcraft, Mustang Monthly, Rod and Custom. Yeah, there were about 6 magazines. I have I've been the general manager of 3 different collision centers, which of course that's building 1-1 scale only, from repair sense. And right now, I've moved on from that to a nice home job where I work for an insurance company as an image desk. I look at the estimates that the shops send in and say whether they're valid or not. That's my job now. So yeah, I'm pretty deep rooted into automotive paint and body and all of that. So yeah, it's become more than just a passion. It's become an income and a life and a good living for the family. So
Yeah. I'm sure you gained a lot of knowledge about paints and using, Bondo and that kind of stuff from
yeah,
your career. Yeah.
that's the one thing I really miss. Are you guys all in the USA?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Well, up here in Canada, we have such strict regulations on what we spray that it's difficult to get certain paints, like really difficult. I can get splash paint brought in, but I don't, it comes in such a small quantity that I don't buy that too often. But all of your, let's see, what tropical
Tamiya.
glitz and
You can't get Tamiya anymore. You can't get Mr. Hobby anymore.
nope. No, and Tamiya did have some really nice. They had some nice pearls and metallics and whatnot in the spray cans, and I was using those for a little while. But what I really miss was when I was running the collision centers. We always had a little bit of paint left in the cup after we fixed a car.
Right.
So, and it was being poured out. So I just, I go on Amazon. I bought some sample bottles, and I had a library of paints. Like it was enviable for sure. But it's hard now that I'm not there anymore. I'm buying paint, and it's hard to get a good supply here.
Did they switch to waterborne paint there in the collision shops?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Okay.
And the first time I tried to use it on a 1/25th scale car, it was I decided I would never try that again, and I said no way. And then I sort of stepped back into it a little bit cautiously, had a few semi good turnouts, and I kept working it and keeping in mind what our paint suppliers that were supplying our paints were telling us on the actual cars and the prep process we were going through. I started mimicking that, and my paint finishes just became spectacular with the waterborne paints.
Okay.
So it was just a matter of learning to move away from that solvent paint and go to the waterborne. And the nice thing with the waterborne is that it's not a hot paint. It doesn't craze anything. You don't have to be careful of what primer you're using underneath of it. It's just so neutral once it goes on there. I love it. And that's why I think I like the Vallejo so much, is it's all water based. And as long as you're prepped properly, you have a good primer underneath of it. It lays down nice and sprays well. They just don't have the metallic and pearl library that I did have access to. So
If you enjoy water-based paint, I think you might like the Gallery line of paint that they came out with, the Kaleido color. Yeah,
you've used it, have you?
I did, but I'm a lacquer guy, so it was difficult for me because the way that it wants you to spray it is heavy. It wants you to flow coat it, and I'm used to building up 10, 12 coats of lacquer, to get a base coat and then go 2K clear over that. So it's totally opposite from what I'm used to. And so, yeah, I had to cut and buff the water base quite a bit to get a shine out of it. But a lot of guys can just flow coat it and be done with it.
Huh. Well, what type of clear are you using over top of it?
Just a Automotive 2K.
Okay.
No particular brand.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Are you're able to use a 2K clear in Canada?
Yeah. I've been using Nason brand, which I think is if I'm not mistaken, that's Exalta. It's one of their lower lines, and I've used that for the last few years, and it's great. Very happy with it. Yeah.
So I have to ask, being that you're above the 45th parallel there, where in the world did Freddie Beach Customs come from? Because that seems like that's a dream rather than a reality.
Freddie Beach. I live outside. I grew up in the town of Fredericton, and Fredericton has a river that runs through the center of it, and it divides the two sides, the north side and the south side of the city. And along the shoreline of the south side, there's a green, and they called it Freddie Beach. Freddie Beach became a brand of clothing in the area. It became a bunch of stuff. Everybody just started calling it Freddie Beach. So I was creating an eBay account one time, long time ago, and I was just putting my toes in to test to see if built model cars would sell. And I thought, I need a name. I don't want to use my own name. So I came up with Freddie Beach Customs, and it's just stuck.
Yeah, I was confused for a while. I was like, his name must be Freddie. Freddie Beach.
Yeah, that would make good sense. That would make good
Steve
sense.
Knox guy. I don't know who's that guy. I was like, oh, wait a minute, it's Steve. Okay.
Steve Beach Customs just didn't have the same ring.
One of the things I've enjoyed on your website is, or not your website, but your Instagram account is your patina trucks and rods that you've built. You have a really good grasp on how to do a patina paint job.
Thank you.
stuff can pull up any pictures of them. But
I happen to have something right here, as it turns out.
I'd love to hear, kind of more about what your techniques are and
Sure.
what your favorite. How do you go about doing a patina paint job like that?
Oh yeah, that's my. That was a now or never build off. That was the race car build off, and I want to do a salt flat car. I have a F series right here. It's been in my feed quite a bit. This is being built for somebody who I don't dare mention, but yeah, these whoops are. This one in particular is what they call the salt technique, which I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with. I used salt on that Studebaker that you had on the screen earlier. That was done with washes. That was done with a lot of Vallejo products. Their powders, their artificial rust compounds. A lot of I've been getting along well with a lot of military builders. They seem to be the guys who really have the patina down in what they're doing. And I in my club, my local club, there's it's probably 75% military builders. And I've picked up most of my tips from them, except for the salt technique. It's a bit heavy-handed, I think, for what they do, but yeah, like this Ford, this has the salt. You can tell by the pattern on the top of it. And well, of course, that's it's base coated with a with a mixture of different rust colors and some black, some different browns and oranges. And what I'll do is I'll apply a base coat, and then I'll go in with a sponge and I'll mix up a bunch of different just to get a bunch of tones underneath of there. And then I put a matte clear on top of just a rusted finished truck, and then the salt goes on over top of the matte clear once that's cured. And I use my dehydrator for every step in between because it accelerates everything so well. And then, of course, your colors go on, and you scraped off your salt bits with your toothbrush or your rag or whatever it is you're using, however aggressive you want to get with it. And then the washes begin, which I like to use some rust, some dirt, some aged black. Like to get some runs going down. I use pencils for some of this. There's a lot of different. There's so much you can do to establish that look. It's just fun, and I found it with these 3D printed kits. It takes a lot of the prep work out, as you guys know. Whenever you print a kit, you have a lot of sanding ahead of you, and at least with the patina build, you don't have to go as far because your surface doesn't have to be as perfect. And in some of them, you can actually play to the weaknesses of your printing failures. Like I was getting a lot of Z shift on my prints, and kind of the sides were pulling out and going back in, creating those diagonal dents or what have you.
Right.
So I just started using those as dents in the actual truck, run a score down it that looks like it got drug against a rock at some point, and then build out from there. And it just kind of validates having those little flaws in them. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. And the neat thing with the patina builds is that then when you work your way toward the inside of them, you can really dress them up nice. Like these are the seats that are going in, and they're a black box product, and has a set of the Z-Force or Ryan at ZFMW wheels there, whatever name he's going by for the business on that. You dress it all up.
They're only ugly on the outside, real pretty on the inside. Nice engines, nice wheels.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes it fun. Yeah, that's generally the style that I go after with one of those. Probably be a while before I'll build another patina vehicle, just because I've built a few of them lately, and I just there's my 50 or 49 or whichever one that is.
What was the inspiration behind building this one?
That that it was a truck. It was supposed to be yellow. It was supposed to be like a school bus yellow. There was a truck owned by it's a shop down in the States, and I saw their truck on Instagram, and I thought, I want to build just exactly that and put it on Instagram and see if I can get a reaction back out of them. And the problem with me is I cannot stick to a script. I just can't. So when I started building it, the yellow went out the window, and the ivory came in. I wanted to try an ivory with a patina on it, and because I had done one before and it failed miserably. Anyway, it just grew a life of its own and became that one there.
One of the models that I really enjoy on your Instagram page, and I've like to hear the story about, is the 67 or 66 Nova that you built, the white sort of body.
Mhm.
I don't know, James, if you can find a picture of that one.
All right, I'm looking. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Yeah, because it's pretty wild. I'd like to hear how that came about.
Yeah, that was built for the Iceman Collections build off.
Oh.
When you get into his build off, you really got to bring your imagination and your A game. I did come in third the year prior with a 57 Ford Ranch wagon. And I thought this year I'd like to go for the first place. But I really want to bang it out of the park. So I started into that. It was supposed to be a pro touring, just a really well detailed pro touring, really nice wheels, really low, fully detailed interior, wild engine, all that stuff. But as I was about a week into the build off, and somebody showed up with a wide body kit on one of their builds. And I thought, I can't compete with that, because it looked good, and the guy is an absolute master builder. So I thought, well, we got to turn it up a little bit. So I've bought most of Black Box's wide body kits, and that one was from I think that was from an early model Skyline he had it designed for.
Okay.
So I printed out the parts and looked at what was going to fit, what wasn't going to fit. I cut them up quite a bit. I started scratch building. On that kit, I had to design the front end on it. That hood's my design. The grill, it's an egg crate style grill. I designed that. The intercooler, or not the intercooler, that's actually that is supposed to be like a transmission cooler or something. If you blow it right up, it has very fine fins and very, very small waterways through it, and then stainless braided lines going in and out of it. Just trying to get into the what do they call it? The cyberpunk look, and just as wild as I could get with a 66 Nova, while still having it identify as a 66 Nova. And that's what came out of it. The neat thing about these build-offs is, as you're going, the competition pushes you to go, to go farther and farther, because as soon as somebody starts going, starts really producing something awesome, you got to try to keep up. So it that's what I think really brought me back into the hobby. Was one, the camaraderie through the Instagram groups, and the passion. There's such a great community of people who just love to build and love to talk about it, love to share ideas, and it's especially during COVID when you're locked in the house and you're not going anywhere. It really became a second family for me, and then of course after I start working from home for economical insurance, they just stayed right on. It's like, yeah, these are my guys, and we chat. There's not a day goes by that we don't chat and talk about what we're doing and talk about life and share our tips and tricks. And I'm constantly building little things in Tinkercad and sending them to somebody because they need a part, and like it's just fun. It's just a really good community thing. You take the one hobby that you lock yourself in your house and there's nobody around, then all of a sudden you have 2,000 followers talking about what you're doing. Like it's just so strange, this world we live in now. It's wonderful.
And when you go to a big show, that's when all the people that you don't know that know you, just finally come up and say, hey, I love your stuff. And yeah.
And that's a dream of mine. I've never been to a big show.
What?
No, I've never been to one of the NNLs. There's a big one in Toronto. I will get to that someday. No, we have a local show here. We usually have about 300 kits on the tables. There's another one later on in the summer that's just a town away, and it gets about half of that. I've never been to a big show.
Yeah, huh. You need to go.
Yeah, I'd love to. Now, I do have a car that's going to the Detroit Autorama, but I'm not going with it. So it's neat.
Yeah, it'd be great to get down to the NNL East, and I bet you'd really enjoy it.
Is that still in New Jersey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the day may come. The day may come. I had opportunities a few years ago, but of course, timing just wasn't right. And well, you never know. And I guess the other problem is I don't ever have anything to take with me. I sell everything I build. Like, I have four built kits in my presence, and
what? That's crazy.
Look at Sean behind Sean, right?
Yeah, he's got a few there.
I've never gotten rid of a model. Well, I take that back. So I was commissioned to build a few things. Those I don't have, obviously, because I sold them. But everything that I've ever built since I was a little kid, I still have. I've never gotten rid of.
Wow. I would not have room.
Can't get rid of it. Like it's too personal to me. So I don't.
Well, and I think that is very common in this hobby. It's yours. It's your expression of what you did. And with me, I just look at it as a canvas, like an artist goes and gets a canvas and puts a painting on it and somebody buys it. That's just what I look at mine as. But I do have some that I regret letting go of. There's no question. There's the four that I still have I regret being stuck with. So it's just the way it is, I guess. I've even it's odd what people will buy. You just never know what's going to be the hot ticket, and sometimes you swing and it's a miss, and sometimes you wish you could have built three of them at once, which I've had to do before. When you build something and you have three people approach you wanting it, I hate to turn it down. And I do find the repetition makes, my daughters always say, practice makes progress. And, if you build the same kit 3 times in a row, chances are by the 3rd time it's going to turn out pretty good. So,
What model have you built that you're most proud of?
that's a great question. I've built a lot that I'm very proud of. Boy, that's a good question. I think maybe it changes every day, but I had posted earlier today on my Instagram that 57 truck, Ford truck conversion that I built out of that one right there. I went back and looked at that and I thought, oh man, I never should have let go of that. That was the second one with the 57 Ford conversion done on it that I had built, and it was beautiful. It was just the right colors. It was, the right stance. It was nice and low with the big wheels on it, but the classic look.
Does that
Yeah.
have the Texas 3D Customs conversion on it, or is that come from somewhere else?
That came from Bear Island, New Brunswick, Canada. That came from the room you're talking to.
Oh, wow.
I did that. Yeah. I did that with a friend. I can't say I did it all. I did the front end of it. He did the hood. There's a guy on Instagram called Big Guy's Garage, and he had done the hood. He had already produced a shortened version of the bed. So I used his bed. I built the insert for it. I printed that, and I did the grill work. Oh, I guess I already mentioned that, but yeah, that was a kind of a joint project with him, and it was a lot of fun. It was the first one out, but we didn't sell any. We made an agreement to be greedy on that, and we kept them for ourselves. So.
Well, now I'm more impressed. I know that Texas 3D Customs has a conversion kit that did in several different model years of that single headlight grill for the.
Yeah, and theirs is very nice. Very nice. The thing I love about that style truck, the 57 in particular, is the hood. The hood looks like the deck of a motorboat back in the 50s, like those old Chris Craft boats. It has the same. It has the lines in it where it just has such a classic look. It surprises me that the 57 Ford pickup wasn't as popular as the 56. The 56 is the one that everybody wants, but 57 was just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
What's your most favorite kit to build?
There's another good question. That is one of them right there for sure. Only because when I open that box, I have endless possibilities. The AMT 55 to 57 cameo pickups. I love those. The Revell, any version of their 32 Ford, they're all amazing. Their 29s and 30s are very nice too, but I love the 32 Ford. Is the Deuce is the quintessential car, and the Revell monogram 55 through 57 Chevys as well. The Bel Airs, the Delrays, the Nomads, anything in that line. I love those kits.
You've built so many kits. I'm curious, what's your least favorite kit that you've ever built?
There's been a few of them. I used to have a bad habit of not finishing a kit. When I would get to the point of frustration, I would get rid of the kit, and I would do it in such a way that it was not coming back. I'd put it on the garage floor and run over it with the car. I had that much pent up anger, I guess, I would put into one of these kits, and that was just a few years ago. But of course, that's come to an end. No more of those foolish things going on here. I don't get into kits that are going to cause me that much frustration. everybody harps on AMT kits being poor kits. The old ones. You hear that a lot. Especially the guys who like to build the foreign cars, the Tamiyas and the Fujimis and all of that. But I think AMT is my favorite producer of kits, only because of the subject matter. They've covered the years that I'm interested in very well over the decades, and they've always brought them back out, and you don't have a whole lot of fear of not getting to build that one kit because it's going to come around again in 5 years anyway. But yeah, I don't know. As far as least favorites go, probably I built a Toyota AE86 a while back and hated every minute of it. But there's such a cool little car.
Was it the Oshima or the Fujimi?
I'm thinking it was the Oshima.
Okay.
I was surprised to see it didn't have door cards in it. Like it only had half of an engine, and like I don't know. I just expected more. They get a lot of hype, and I just expected more out of it. But I'm stuck in my ways. I'm too old to change, I guess. But I can't really get into those cars, and I drive foreign cars. I drive, in real life. But when it comes to building, I want my classic North American vehicle to build. I can't even seem to get into building a Volkswagen Beetle. Like I've tried awful hard, and I just can't seem to do it. Oh, second favorite kit that I've ever built was it was pretty well completely made out of evergreen sheet, and it was a 1972 Winnebago Brave 18-footer RV. That was fun. It was really fun. That was built for a build-off. The kit that I started with, of all things, was the Mobius 1966 Ford step-side pickup, and all I used was 2 frame rails, and then I printed everything or cut out of sheet everything else, and that was a lot of fun. That was a really cool build.
I've seen that one on your Instagram. It's pretty wild. It looks like it's kind of closely resembles the Ring Brothers Winnebago.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same. That's the exact same vehicle. Theirs was a Brave 18-footer. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that was. I'm sure that was my inspiration at the time.
You're sorry.
Sorry.
I was going to say you were talking about your lack of enthusiasm for building import kits, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, I sort of share that lack of enthusiasm, but I'm Mr. Tester and Mr. Duff have inspired me with some of the stuff that they've been showing me, and I'm sort of feeling like I need to build more like supercars and European and Japanese cars, just as a palate cleanser for like all the trucks and American stuff. I'm thinking that those guys need to like do some trucks. So maybe we need to challenge each other. I'll build a Ferrari and you build a truck. Maybe we'll do something like that.
Perfect. But there are, like, I wouldn't mind that Revell Thames taxi cab. I think it is. I wouldn't mind hot rodding one of those. That would make a really cool subject. I do have when Revell came back out with that Jaguar, I bought it right away, and I haven't touched it, but every time I walk by, I'm like, you know what? I think I know what I want to do with that. And it's almost come out of the box a few times, but it just hasn't quite gotten over that step yet. It will.
Is that the XKE?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. The guy above you there, he's the one to talk to. He suffered through that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I built the convertible version of it.
Is it a chore? Did it go together well?
For the most part. There's a few little things that you gotta, the hood doesn't want to stay shut, so you have to modify it a little bit. I ended up using magnets so that I could take it off.
Yeah.
You know, other people that leave it attached, you can only open it so much. I can take mine completely off and then just place it, and it falls right into place.
Nice. I've bought magnets to do that with. I haven't used them yet. I'm working my way towards those too. That's pretty cool to be able to do
for
that.
you, when you do get to the magnets, to place them, grab the whole stack and put glue on the last one, and then place it, and then you can pull off the magnets.
I suppose
use tweezers to put the magnet in place, because it doesn't work.
No, I can see that being a problem. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of neat because I bought the package off Amazon, and when it arrived, it was just one big long rod, and I was like, what? That's not what I ordered. And then I opened it up, and sure enough, I mean, it was 50 magnets or 100 magnets or whatever's in there.
Right. But that's the way. That's the easy way.
Okay.
Oh, and make sure that the polarity is right when you place the other magnet. Because
unless you want a floating hood, right?
Right.
So wasn't it, Sean, was it you who built the international travel?
Yeah, that would be him.
Yep, that's the one I finished earlier this year, or I guess last year now.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun build.
Another tester's fault.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I printed that for him, and he's like, I want to build that. Okay, here you go. It Z shits on it. It was rough.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they all kind of are. Speaking of that build, when I saw it, it inspired me. And this may have shown up on my feed. It may not have yet, but is the international, whatever this thing's called. I think it's a Travelall, but it's the truck version.
Oh, that's the Travelette, I think it's called, isn't it?
Oh, Travelette. That sounds about fitting for it. In my so I have to build for it. There was a lot of carving I had to do to get this thing to the point where I can build it. The model car build off is having a truck build off right now.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put in something unique, so I printed this, and I had to cut the bed out of it so far because I'm going to design and install my own raised floor bed to allow for a frame swap. And
is that an Andre Bezrodny file?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Okay. I just picked up his newest one, the OBS, the 89 Chev pickup.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got that last night. I haven't printed it yet, but I thought this was an odd enough, it's a weird truck, and it would stand out in a crowd of, regular pickups. And P24 got his wheels for it. It's going to sit nice and low on those. No, wait, these aren't P24. These are Ryan at Z-Force. These ones. I did have a P24 picked out for it. Anyway, that's another one that's on the bench. I think I have about 6 weeks left to finish this one, and I haven't even hardly started it, but we'll see.
Sean, you ended up with the pickup truck too, right?
Yeah.
The single cab international pickup truck.
Yeah. It's in my short list of backlog of things to do something with. I do love those international pickups. There was a big plant, and they made those in my hometown of Springfield, Ohio.
Really?
And so growing up as a kid, international trucks were just everywhere. I mean, that was all over the city, and so I have sort of an affection for those IH vehicles. That particular one, the Travelette, I believe, because it's essentially a Travelall with a back half cut out. I
Right.
think that those were intended to pull a trailer that where the I don't know what they're called. They overhang the
The fifth
bed.
wheel.
A fifth wheel. I
Yeah.
think that those were intended to, and they're very rare. They didn't make very many of them all, and maybe just a few hundred or so.
I looked them up, and I think you're right. I looked them up when I grabbed that file because I was trying to find some reference photos to, factory colors and, upholstery patterns, because it was right. That's a 73. So it would be gaudy to say the least. I'm sure you could get an orange truck with an orange interior. And then that's kind of what I was aiming for,
Mustard
where I'm
yellow.
going with that one. And graphics. I wanted to find some graphics. I think you used like a wood paneling on yours, didn't you?
Yeah,
Or
I made my own custom decals for that. Yeah.
oh, that turned out so nice. That was the inspiration. That's why when I saw that, I said, yeah, I'm gonna build one, because obviously they can be done, and can be done well. Here's a question, since we're on the subject of 3D printed bodies. What are you using for your windows, your windshields?
I personally, I like to use Screensaver. It's for an iPad. Just go to
Okay.
the store and buy an iPad protective screen. There, it's just thin plastic is all it is. Cut it to shape,
Okay.
and it fits right in. I was using Pet G, and trying to vacuum form, and I couldn't get the vacuum form to work right.
Mm.
So I just started cutting this screen protector stuff, and it works really well.
Okay. Yeah.
If it flexes in the package really easy, then it's perfect.
Okay. Yeah. I've gone through a lot of different products on the road to finding the proper windshields. The trouble I always have is trimming them, having them. You can get them into shape nice, but sometimes, like on those Ford pickups, the corners have to bend around real tight at the edges in order to get it to settle. So what I've ended up doing is I print the windshield in clear resin, sand it, polish it down, and then clear coat it with 2K, and it does work. It works nice.
Hmm.
But you really, with his window channels, you really have to be careful to not let it get too thick, because it does tend to kind of balloon out at the edges. But
Right.
it fits perfect, because I mean it was made in it was made digitally to fit in that exact hole that's there. So
Right.
it
Right.
Have you
works.
been able to print clear so that it doesn't have any bubbles or anything in it?
I no bubbles, but layer lines. I use my old printer. I just get a notification there. I use my old printer, which had a lower resolution on it. I think it's a 2K. Yeah, I think it's a 2K. And your windshields, your clear parts are going to turn out hazy no matter what, because after you clean them, that resin goes hazy. So I've just accepted the fact that I have to sand them well, and I'll use just a fingernail file and sand them down. Even if you leave a little bit of a sanding lines in it, your 2K will generally fill it anyway. And by the time you get to your second coat of 2K, because I sand between coats, it's going on smooth by then, and it's not really a problem.
I do print the headlights and taillights and do
Yep.
just that, 2K clear them so that they're
Mhm.
clear. But for windows, I like to use acetate.
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, I've experimented with it. I'd love to perfect it, because I still don't even. I'm not terribly happy with printing them, but I've gotten them to work. But I would like to have a better solution than that.
But Andre lately has been putting channels on his windows, which makes it super easy.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm going to revisit it for sure. Trouble with printing them too is that you really have to get. What I do is I'll take the windshield buck, and I will print it face down. So your outside surface of your windshield is getting the supports stuck all to it.
Okay.
And when it comes out, it of course has all the, all the deformation and whatnot. But once you're going across it with a sanding stick anyway, it turns out just fine.
I was printing them straight up.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Only
was-
putting the supports on the bottoms and then a couple up the sides so that this part wasn't getting any potholes in it. But of course, it was getting layer lines.
Right. Yeah. I found printing them straight up, I was getting deformation in the face of them just because, with your fluid movements as your build plate's going up and down, it was causing it to become kind of concave in the center.
Okay.
So I moved it around. I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna sand it anyway. So I think I have the windshield for this truck already.
That's a lot of sanding, though, Dan. That's a lot of sanding and polishing.
Yeah. See, it's just like a kit piece, really. Now that's been kicking around this box for quite a while. It still needs. It could use another quick buff, but it turned out nice.
He disappeared. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. He's back.
So this is BMW with acetate
Okay.
cut to shape, and then I just have it taped right now. But
Yeah.
that looks, I mean, it's dirty and it's dusty, but that's a pretty good window for a flush fit window.
Oh, it certainly is. Yeah.
And I was trying to do the side ones as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll always cut mine out of acetate or whatever. I've gotten the evergreen clear sheets. I've gotten.
That's
I've
way
ordered-
thicker than what I'm using. Way thicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very thin.
And maybe that's why I'm not getting the contour on the corners or on the edges.
Yeah, this
It's
is
just too thick.
very, very flexible.
Oh wow.
Let's
So
say
yeah, look up screen protectors
Mhm.
for an iPad or an iPod. Yeah, like this is from Japan, but you get the idea.
Yep. Yeah, sure do. I'll check that out because like with the other, it does seem it's too thick. It's really too thick. And it floats up out of the channel, even though he does put that nice recess in there.
Right.
So,
See,
yeah.
we're stealing the idea.
Right. What we're stealing. Good.
Oops.
Oh, is that what's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. So every alpha model and PZY resin kit has a flat sheet of windows
Mm-hmm.
that are Mylar. I believe they're Mylar, but they're printed around the outside. The black trim around the outside is already there, so it's just glue them in place.
Really?
And let's see if I can get this open. There we go. It's a guesstimate as to which way this self-sealing bag is full. So this is the. Let me grab the little insert here. So this is a Ferrari Purisang. It's the Ferrari's SUV.
Okay.
Because that's exactly what Ferrari needed, right? It was an SUV.
Oh yeah, you can't go without.
And so what are included in all these alpha models, PZY, which are a slightly smaller box. This is a Ferrari 296 GT3.
Mm-hmm.
Are these thin sheets? Let me big in myself here so we can see what I'm talking about. Are these incredibly thin sheets of Mylar, and they're already pre-black. So there's the back window, the side windows, the front window, and this has a panorama roof to it, because why wouldn't it? And it's already tinted as well.
And that's the part that you're installing?
Yeah, this is it's got clear protective film on each side so that you don't, gum it up in the process of handling it. And then that all just, if I can get this body open without destroying my entire life here, because again, this is taped in 9 different directions. Let's see, which way is this package? I didn't open this. Live on the fly here, folks. We get to see this in real life.
Look at
So yeah, so here's your resin body. Very,
Okay.
very nice. And then this on the top here, you see it has an entire divot for the entire roof cut out for it.
Wow.
So that'll just lay in there. The back window will lay in this opening. After we glue the bejesus out of it, because it's gonna have to go around that corner. That's gonna be a fun one.
What kind of glue will you use on that?
super glue.
Say the non-fogging, the foam safe super glue.
Right.
And
gold.
Or if it's a flat enough windshield, you can use something like canopy glue.
Okay.
Yeah. That won't hold that kind of curve. You're gonna tack that in super glue. And then all of the clear pieces, the headlights, the taillights, and all that stuff, they're done in clear resin, like an actual pressure cast resin. But that's what that idea is stealing from, is the idea. I've always said that, like, you have the Cricut machines and the silhouettes that'll cut, vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
If you could find this, material, whatever this is made out of, and then take that buck that they're giving you from the 3D print and, either pattern it yourself with tape or scan it in somehow, and then just have the silhouette machine cut it out.
Right.
That would be perfect. Yeah. That way you wouldn't have to cut it anymore.
I wonder if you could convert the file to like an SVG file is used. You import that to Tinkercad to create basically your outside extremities. If you could reverse that from your STL file into something that a Cricut would read.
I don't know what format Cricut needs. I don't know.
I say Cricut has its own proprietary print thing, because I know that you have to rescale if you're doing something like in Adobe or CorelDRAW, so that you're doing an actual vector file for it. It won't read the vector file. You have to resize it to whatever the hell it is that they're using, their proprietary thing. Because God forbid anybody talk to anybody with that kind of thing.
I'm sure that somebody somewhere must have the ability to vacuum form a window and then use a CNC cutter to trim it. I mean, that's not revolutionary technology.
I wonder if a laser.
I was just thinking that.
Do that.
Yeah, like an etcher, a laser etcher.
Certainly, you can laser cut things, but I don't know about cutting it in 3 dimensions like that.
Well, no, even just a flat piece of Mylar. If it could cut the
standard laser cutter could trim the shape out of a flat piece.
I wonder what tolerance those go down to, like 0.01.
Yeah, they're very sharp. We had a laser cutter at the model shop I used to work at. And
well, I would say I've shown James before. There's a couple of different companies out there that laser cut masks for aircraft and tanks in the military world, and they're creating the actual stencils, the do not walk, do not stand kind of stencils for like 1/48 scale aircraft, and that's that's printing that's barely legible when you look at it, and it's you're laying it on and spraying paint through it, and it's legible on the other side. So they should creating a window, that should be not a problem.
Very easy. Yeah.
I guess I need to get myself a laser cutter now.
Well, there. Me too.
All right, boys. We're all going out and buying laser cutters this weekend.
Better buy stocks.
That's what a lot of these companies are like. Zoom on and that's probably how they're creating all these masks for all the import cars so quickly, because doing actual tape, patterns and then transferring that into something that they can then reprint and cut out of tape would be a huge, problem, as opposed to just scanning in the shape of the windshield once and then having a laser cutter cut a bajillion sheets of tape. Because if you've ever gotten a Zoom on set, it's not like the Tamiya or other places where it's a big sheet of masking tape that everything peels off of. You instead get, I don't know if I have one here or not. I think I did.
A piece of tape. Yeah.
Haha, I do. This is the masking set for a Volvo station wagon, the race car. I think it's up there behind me.
Cool.
So it's cut, you're just getting the window shapes, right? It's already been cut out. It's already been, removed from the background. You're just getting the actual pieces. And that has to be being cut on some sort of laser cutter, because otherwise, is there some poor Chinese guy that's sitting there peeling them out and sticking them onto this sheet? I think
that's probably like a Sino vine cutter.
Yeah, but it
does have just a plotter knife that kind of runs around. Then you can peel it. It just cuts through the mask layer.
Okay.
Wow.
But what I'd like to see is, I'm kind of surprised with those PCY kits and stuff, like they don't have vacuum form windows. I mean, it's still just a flat sheet. For me, I would think
not yet. I think they'll eventually end up getting there, because a lot of people complain about the windows. So
trying to get a compound curve, to wrap in two directions out of a flat sheet.
I can't even picture that.
Yeah, it was not fun. But I did a Toyota Yaris that needed wrapped around, and it was difficult. Basically, glue one side, wait for the glue to completely harden, and then work your way around to the other side.
That's probably how I would have to do it. And I use 5-minute epoxy for that stuff, because I know once it's glued, it's never going to come loose.
It'll pull the paint off, right?
Right. That's the part that'll come off. It's not the glue itself, but it's slow, right? I mean, you're gonna do one side, wait a day or two, and then for it to cure, and then come back and do the other side.
So, here's an example, right? This is that's the tip of a pencil, and this is a mask from one man army of one of these companies that does airplane masks, and you can read that, obviously.
Holy cow!
And you're going to be painting through that so that you're getting the print through, and so if a laser cutter can get down into that kind of resolution, cutting a windshield out would be.
Oh yeah. That's. Yeah, I don't even know how would you have to thin your paint down to actually, do an effective. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Ask your military friends; they would know.
They're good guys, but I don't think they're going quite to that level. They talk about it, but I don't. I've not seen that yet. That's for sure.
Our friend Kevin brings up a good point here: a captive channel to hold the windows. So I guess what he's saying is to scribe a channel into here to slide the window into, slide it into the other side, and sort of pop it into place.
Yeah.
That would be something that would have to be done in the design, I would think. You could, because if you're 3D printing that, the 3D printer could, print that channel in there. Obviously.
Yeah.
Which would be the one sort of advantage of 3D printing over injection molding, because an injection molding machine would never be able to stamp that in there like that.
Right. Well, that's true.
Yeah, you can create undercuts and stuff in the print.
But it would just be so thin, that it could do it.
Here we are, gentlemen, solving the world's problems live on YouTube.
One problem at a time. Yeah. Something I've been experimenting with as far as gluing in, your clear styrene or your glass, your headlights, all that. I picked up some UV resin glue off Amazon. It was quite inexpensive. It was like $14, I think, Canadian, and it came with this nice little light. And I just put a dab on with a toothpick, and then shoot the light at it. Of course, $14 glue and a light, you're not going to get the best light ever. On. But it's been awesome for quite a few different things. And it's thick enough that holds, like if you're putting a headlight in, you can get it turned. It'll float around in that stuff enough to turn it and work it to get your headlight lines all um, lined up properly, and then just hit it with the UV lamp, and it hardens right up, stays in place, and it's almost like a rubber cement when it dries. And
Yeah.
I used it over top of this lens
Yeah.
after I painted it. I don't know if you can see the shine to it, but it
Yeah.
really gave it a really good realistic look to it. It's great stuff. It's great stuff, and it was really inexpensive. I use it in my instrument bezels, for to cover up the decal, to show the it looks like glass over top of
Yeah.
over top of your gauges and such. It's really nice stuff. It's cheap.
I'm gonna get some to try that. I've seen a couple different people on YouTube using that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to add that to my arsenal. James, have you had a chance to use that yet?
Yeah, I use it on gauges and whatnot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Maybe that's where I got the idea. It could have been if you were sharing the tip, because I know I got it off of somebody.
I probably got it off somebody too. So
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool.
but even if you have a jug of clear resin, it's the same thing that's in that.
Yeah.
Just put it in a little mixing cup and dab it. It's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think I just bought it because I wanted the neat little light. Because I'm always using resin for something. I use resin as filler. Anytime that if I have a surface
light per se.
Oh yeah, I have they're fantastic. Mine's a little bit larger than that, but I don't know where it went. But yeah, I use resin for so many different things. It's an adhesive, it's a filler. It's great. It's the all-in-one.
I jacked up a body once, it just on the top, the very almost like the last print thing, and it had a fail, and I filled that with liquid resin. I just put a piece of tape underneath it, put the resin on top of it, cured it, sanded it, and it was done in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you would have had to use Bondo or spot putty or something, and it was done in 2 minutes.
Yeah, the nice thing about that too is then your consistency is the same. It's like it's not too dissimilar materials you're trying to sand.
Yeah, and it doesn't shrink over time.
Right.
Yeah.
So we covered your favorite model and your least favorite model. From a building aspect, what do you enjoy most about building, and what's the thing? Well, I guess you said sanding, but what's the thing you enjoy least about building?
I think I think the printing has really come up in things that I truly enjoy. Creating, scratch building digitally, all of that. I also I love painting. I love the airbrushing, the colors, getting a deep gloss on a finish, and almost like you can reach down into it. I love seeing that. I love the mock-up. That's that's what kind of keeps me going. I'll mock a build up multiple times as I'm going through it. I have such a catalog of wheels now here that I'll print multiple sets of wheels for one build just to see what it's going to look like. It's a luxury that we have as printers. We don't have to order a set, hope they'll fit. You're resizing widths and diameters, and you fine tuning just to get it perfect. That's stuff that we can do now that I enjoy. I also love sharing my builds. I love seeing reaction to them when they turn out well. Of course, I think we all do. Anyone who posts what they build. I love the community aspect of it. Of course, like I mentioned before, with the build offs, with the chat spaces in Instagram and whatnot. You know, least favorite. I hate getting into I don't like building something that I don't like. And that's kind of a risk that you run into when you're accepting commissions sometimes. You know, I like to build what keeps me passionate about what I'm building about the automotive world in 1/25th scale. But if there's a vehicle that I really don't like and I'm being asked to build it, it's unfortunately probably not going to turn out as nice as one that I do have, you know, a real love for. You know, it's not about the money. It's not about money at that point. It's about the art, and if it's something, you know, if whoever built the real one didn't do something that attracts your eye as a builder, you're not gonna hit the nail on the head. And I have had that happen. And sometimes you can't really see it. The person who wants it, they'll be satisfied with it, but I won't be, and I never will be. And that's, I guess that's probably one of my least favorite things.
Yeah, I've done maybe 2 or 3 commission builds, and they were the most work I've ever put into a model, because you're so afraid that the owner won't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Now there was one that I built just in November, December. That was awesome. It was a guy's friend of mine, his grandfather's first hot rod car that he ever had, that he ever built. And this man has gone on to own, I don't know how many different hot rods and customs over the years, but it's become a family thing, and they have a warehouse full of the vehicles. But it was his very first one, and all we had to go by was, you know, the old gentleman's story of what the car was, and two black and white pictures from the same angle, like it was the front driver's side corner, and that's all we had. And this car was customized front to back. It had a very it had a very unique flame paint job on it, and but we didn't even know what colors the flames were, because there was only black and white, and it was being given to him as a gift for Christmas, and so he couldn't really be in on the conversation very much. So it was fun. It was really fun, um, and in the end, I think we nailed it. I really think we nailed it. It's funny because this car, it was a 56 Chevy convertible. It had diamond tuft interior in it. Now, to recreate diamond tuft seating, you see a lot of people using foam, that craft foam, and they're using the edge of a ruler or a hobby knife to create the patterns on them. But these, I tried multiple times to get that right. And what I was doing was I'd take the seat, I would mix up and smooth out milliput and put it on, and then score lines in the milliput as it started to settle a little bit, and it worked. But the trouble was is I just could not get it the same all the way across. I just couldn't, doing it by hand. And I did it once, and I was like, you know, this doesn't look too awful bad. And I kept looking at it and kept looking at it. It's like, this is supposed to be right for this guy. So what I ended up doing was going into Tinkercad, building a reverse. I had to build a reverse stamp, basically digitally. Create a seat, lay this stamp over top of it that had the actual pattern down into it, and I managed to build the seats virtually and then print them, and that was where I had to go in order to get diamond tuck
Perfect.
interior. But what a job, what a job. And I really wanted to have, and the trouble was is the seats didn't have that warm, that truly, you know, it didn't, they looked machine built, and they just didn't have that nice smooth, because you're very, very limited. And that's why I've gotten the course on Blender, and I really hope to get some time in on that. I just haven't had time going through Christmas and then everything after Christmas, but hopefully I'll get some seat time in that so I can start getting some proper surfaces and, you know, textures done and things like that, because I'm just going to keep right on going. There's just so much I want to be able to do a lot more than what I'm doing now, you know.
It
Very
scares
cool.
it scares me. Yeah, I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. It's Tinkercad's fun. I mean, you go in there and just do something basic. Just create a catch can or in center console for a car, or um, you know, whatever. Just something simple. A headlight. You can build a headlight with. Just practice at it, print it out, and see. And that's all it takes is doing it. You know, once, and then you're going to grow into it and get better and better and more creative in it. And you know, I went in there the other day, and I think I have 200 and it was just under 300 designs sitting in there of things that I can print out that I've created, you know, and it's my stuff. It's pretty cool. We were doing a build off with custom cars last year. It was this time last year. It was the Rodden Custom build off. We were trying to keep up with the was it the Oakland Roadster show, or it was one of those shows anyway. And I wanted to build one of those crazy 50s space age customs that, you know, had all the angel hair around them when they were on display and stuff. And I saw this wild looking set of seats, and I thought, that's what I need. I just have to figure out how to make them. And I went in and I created them. And after, you know, I shared photos and stuff like that. I've had people reach out to me all over the world. Oh man, I've sent uh, 7 or 8 sets to England. I've sent multiple sets down through the States, off into Hawaii. Like, it's just neat when you get that one idea that everybody's kind of been waiting to see, just that aha moment,
Right.
and you can create it on your own printer and your own, you know. It's really cool. It's really cool, and I love seeing other builders use my parts like that. Really, that I just love it. I absolutely love that, and I think that's why I think the printing aspect is just as much as the actual model building. You know, it's as much of a hobby as the other side of it. It really has become that way.
It's
Very
a
cool.
hobby for your hobby, as we like to say.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
So as we come close to the end of our timer, we ask this of everyone. You weren't prepped on this because my slacking getting the link out, but
Uh-oh.
we ask everyone if you it's something we've stole from other podcasts called a Magnus Opal build. So it's your lifetime achievement award. If there is a Steve Knox Freddie Beach Customs thing that you wanted to accomplish as far as a build, I suppose you'd have to keep it rather than selling it.
Yeah.
But if there's a project that you wanted to do, or maybe it's a series of models that represent something or whatever it may be, is there something out there that's still like out beyond your grasp you haven't already done? Obviously you're a very prolific builder, so maybe you've passed it already and there isn't anything, but is there some project out there that would be something that you would want to be your legacy, as it were?
I want to build, before I'm done building, I want to be able to have built the top 10 most popular custom cars ever built. So, you know, I've got a couple of Jimmy Flintstone bodies on their way here. I've ordered, um, mostly, well, they're both Mercuries. One's it's a 40 Mercury, and the other one's a 50. Um, I have I have started. I had to design a lot of parts for it, and it's a long-term project. There's a car. It's a 1960 Pontiac called I think it's called the Golden Indian. It has a very unique front and back ends on it. Wild interior, just seats, just like I was mentioning, just right from the space age. I want to build some replicas for myself, and have these, I want to, and with me, it's always a challenge because I don't want to keep anything. I want to sell it. But my goal is I want to build something and see it cross the auction block and sell for, up into the four digits. I want to see that. That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. I have that, the whole front end, the whole back end. I've got it all engineered and ready. It's been all mocked up with some sticky tack stuff and all that. I just need to keep going with it. But with a project like that, you have to set it aside and let yourself breathe for a while, once in a while, just and then go back at it, because everything on it, everything is modified from front to back. That one wasn't like building getting a Jimmy Flintstone body in the mail. That there is, getting what is the kit? It's a trumpeter, I think, and modifying the life out of it. So that's it. I want to build the top 10 custom cars ever made. And yeah, I've got the back end and all that. The taillights, where the taillights used to be on that car, it's tough because I had to build little half circle homes to fit where the taillights used to be, and then extend the wings on the back to create those housings for the headlights. It's crazy. It's fun.
Cool.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Oh yeah, it's coming. Like I said, it's in the box. I haven't had anything fail on it yet or discourage me. All this other stuff has to go and be finished before I can move on to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was nice meeting you, Steve.
Oh, look, it's such a pleasure being asked to be here. Pretty cool, eh? But you can see where the original taillights were above that pocket. They fold down. They were supposed to be twin round taillights.
Okay.
Yeah, they're hard to cap off and get that contour back, but I've printed them, and I've printed the replacements for them. They should be all right once I get a little bit of putty in around them, or maybe 3D resin. But no, I really appreciate being here. I really appreciate being asked. I don't see myself as being anyone who has any skill that's better than anyone else. I see myself as being a person who's very, very in love with my hobby, and I love sharing everything that I do. I love seeing other people develop, and I love seeing myself develop too. So I don't know. But I do. Wickedly appreciate being asked to come here.
Well, we appreciate meeting you, and it's been a pleasure, and look forward to seeing more of your models on your Instagram page.
Oh, you will. You certainly will.
Hang out for a second, well, because we'll be talking to you, goodbyes after we get off the air here. For everybody else, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate your following along and chatting us up in the chat there as usual. And till 2 weeks from now passes, we'll see you guys on the other side.
See ya.
Excellent. Thank you.